Hey guys, what's going on? It's Nova Maestro here, and welcome to Blow My Mind, the series where we talk about deeper topics and cool topics that we can discuss in the comment section and have some fun with. Last week I did Beetle in the Box, and I've had a while to think of what I was going to do now, and I found the Beetle in the Box so fun because it was such a cool topic and such one that kind of made you think a lot, and I thought I'd try and think of one. I haven't done a commentary in a while, and so I really wanted to think of one that would be really cool to discuss in the comment section again. And I've come up with something that's quite thought-provoking, but probably something that you guys have heard of in one way or another, because this topic is definitely something that is known by a lot of people, whether they learn it directly in its own context or whether they learn it from somewhere else, because this has been used as a premise for science fiction films, most notably The Matrix. They represented this whole idea in the form of a film, and it is the brain in the vat philosophy, and it's basically around the premise that if you imagine a human being that has been subjected to an operation by people, and the person's brain has been removed from the body and placed into a vat of nutrients and minerals and all the good stuff that keeps the brain alive. The nerve endings have been connected to computers, and now the person has the illusion that everything is perfectly normal, but they're actually in this vat of nutrients. So there are people in the world. There's everything. All your environment's the same. You see the sky, you see the ground, you walk, you feel things, but you're actually just a brain in a vat. Now this is depicted obviously in Matrix by people not knowing that they're part of a simulated world that they're being used to being milked for their energy and things like that. And a lot of people struggle with the Matrix and what it's actually all about, and struggle with the story. But if you actually sit and watch it, it's really good, and it's based on this philosophy. So the whole idea is, okay, so you're a brain in a vat. That is preposterous. You instantly start to think, well, obviously you're not a brain in a vat. Obviously we're all people, and most people would deny it. But the fact that you can't actually say that you're not a brain in a vat simply because a person that was a brain in a vat in a simulated world couldn't couldn't know that they were a brain in a vat, means that it kind of means that you can't say you're not. So there is definitely a possibility that we could be brains in vats, no matter how small a possibility is. Which makes you think, which basically brings up the fact that how can we know anything in life? Because if we are brains in vats, which we could be, which we're not certain we're not 100% certain we're not, that means that we're not 100% certain about anything. We can't be 100% certain about anything. So this is kind of like a skeptic's mindset of philosophy, and how we can't, no matter how much we try to learn as people, we can't actually learn anything, because we could just be brains in vats and not really know. And this, for me, seems ridiculous, and I'm guessing that most people would start off in the comment section in their argument with, ah, yeah, I've heard this one before. This is ridiculous. Course, it's not. There's much higher possibility that there isn't, and that we're not brains in vats. It's the most preposterous idea I've ever heard of in my life. Blah, 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 blah. But when you think about it in the way that, um, when you see it as it might exist, and you can't deny that you could be a brain in a vat, although it's preposterous, it's stupid, it goes against everything we believe in. That's precisely why we could be brains in vats, just because it works. It comes under the same fundamental beliefs. That's what we would be believing if we were brains in vats. So if you take it into that, and I know a lot of people in the Beetle in the Box one said, "Oh, I can't talk about this. You pretty much said it, and there's nothing to discuss." Well, let me get you started on my view of it, because it does sound stupid, and it would just be something that um, would not be even taken as anything serious. But when I was looking into this, I saw some guy, a philosopher by the name of Nick Bostrom, and he said that when he looked at this theory, and when he looked at the philosophy, he said that surely it makes sense that more of us our brains in vats. That is more likely that we are a brain in a vat and not connected to the real world, but instead a simulation world. Now, I'll just read you through exactly what he said because I don't want to misquote him. But he said, "In the future, it is likely that our civilization will reach a level of technology such that it can create incredibly sophisticated computer simulations." Now, he said this a while back, and it's fair to say that our technology is increasing rapidly. So, the actual idea of human minds being able to inhabit directly into a world that's simulated um, would be quite logical that was bound to happen someday. So anyway, so relatively tiny resources will be needed to sustain such simulated worlds. A single laptop of the future may be able to home thousands or millions of simulated minds. Now that makes sense that more people would want to be putting brains in vats. There's your motivation for it. So, he's coming up with an argument that maybe would make you think, this isn't so preposterous. So in all probability, simulated minds will vastly outnumber biological ones. The experiences of both biological and simulated minds will be indistinguishable, and both will of course think that they are not simulated. So therefore, we'll both be thinking the same. We'll both be thinking we're in the real world, but only one of us will be. And even which is something that I thought when I read this, even the people that have people that are connected to laptops, if they're the ones connecting these brains into vats or the brains into laptops for simulated worlds, they might actually be the people that are in brains and vats themselves, and that could go on for ages. So no one can truly know that they're not a brain in a vat, which means no one can truly know that they don't know anything in the world, that they certainly know everything in the world, because we're all oblivious, we're all going off theories and assumptions, but no fundamental thing can be true and proven true if you could be a brain in a vat. But I'll carry on with what he said. We naturally couch this argument in terms of hypotheticals about the future, but who is to say that this future hasn't already happened? That some computer expertise has not already been attained, and such minds already simulated? We of course suppose that we are not computer simulated minds living in a simulated world, but there may be attributes to the quality of programming. Follow the logic of Bostrom's argument, it is very likely that our supposition is wrong. Now that is trying to say that we may look at technology and things in the future as a future thing, but in reality, in the reality world, not the brain in the vat world, we may have been generations past that, and all the problems that we see today that we might think, oh yeah, but the world will end before we get that technology, well, all that might not even exist in the reality world. They might not see the problems that we have today. Their laws of science might be different. They might even live forever. Okay, but that's pretty much what I'm going to do for that. I'm just going to go on to mention something else that I just wrote down here before, wrote down a bullet point just to talk to you guys about as well, because it kind of links in with the same thing. So, because we don't actually know anything, we don't know anything about the world outside, I thought I'd also talk quickly about the veil of perception, which kind of says pretty much exactly the same thing. Now, this was talked about first by a guy called John Locke, who basically said human understanding is like a closet, wholly shut from light, with only some little openings left to let in external sources like the environment or things like that. And the way to think about this is kind of like the beetle in the box. In your head, you have something that processes. You have processing the environment, but you don't have the environment. So when you look at something like a tomato, for instance, you can look at a tomato, and a tomato could be, I'm taking this directly from what he said, tomato could be seen in some lights as brown, black, and in other lights it can be seen as red. Now, the way we perceive it in the different lights is us in a closet, and the tomato is outside the closet. But the actual door itself with the little lights through is like our mind trying to process it, but all the things are in the way, and so we can't really see things as they are. Now that's a bit different though, because obviously that tomato has a constant shape. It has a constant things that we can see, and we can know that that's true. We know the size of it. It doesn't change no matter what light conditions, no matter what environmental conditions. But at the same time, there are like primary factors where we can know something, and then there's secondary stuff where you look at stuff and you're like, ah, that looks a lot different than when I saw it last time because of the light or because of how I'm perceiving it, and that is called your veil of perception. And it'll be interesting if you guys have any thoughts on veil of perception and what you guys think of that, because people have come to the conclusions that there's stuff like the external world might not even exist, and that the veil of perception is not there because there is nothing to perceive, and that everything in your world is in your head and stuff like that. So let me see what you guys think of that, because I know it's another one of those things that's just like so, you know, pointless, but it's quite cool to talk about and give your own thoughts. Maybe if it's not something that you believe in, because I don't believe that there is nothing outside of my head, and that my whole world is my head and it's just being created, and that it's hard to that there's a veil of perception and things like that. I might not necessarily believe it, but it's quite cool to think about these kind of things, because it does make you question pretty simple things in life that you think you know, and it'll be quite cool to see your guys' opinion. But anyway, guys, I think I'm just going to check how long I've been going on for. Yeah, I think that will pretty much end this commentary. Sorry I didn't go into too much detail about everything, but I'm sure you guys can discuss it in the comment section. If you're struggling of things to say in the comment section, if you're struggling of things to talk about, then just, you know, just think about the topic, and think about, or maybe your own topics that you've always found interesting. Anything that kind of breeds discussion and stuff will be awesome, because I really want to start talking about some stuff like this. I know we did it a little bit in Beating the Box. It'd be really nice to start talking about this stuff again, because I really enjoy this stuff. But anyway, that'll be everything, guys. Sorry that I haven't been too active. I will definitely try and do more of these soon, hopefully more than once a week. And I'll be keeping up with more Gears comms and things like that as soon as I head off to university. So wish me luck. Anyway, guys, that is it now. As always, thank you very much, and good night.